Hey, howdy and happy day. I was at a gun show last week, all week in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's called the SHOT Show. It's a big deal. 60,000 people attend the show. It's not open to the public. It's just for buyers like Walmart and Target and Canadian Tire and stores like that. They send their buyers in and they sit down. They've all got desks and tables and so on, and they fill out the order. And like a Walmart says, I've got 3,000 stores and I want to have 10 of this in each store. Like, it's a big deal. And there's over 14 acres of booths and close to 3,000 booths selling guns, of course, but knives and slingshots and bow and arrows and ammunition and clothing as well. Smith & Wesson has a clothing line, and there's safes, and it's overwhelming. When you walk around, you look at all this stuff, and they give away hats. I mean, Winchester, I got a hat from Winchester. I got hats from Smith & Wesson and so many other people, and I made a special trip over to the SARS booth just to thank them, because every year they have the big bags that they make. They make hundreds of thousands of them a year because many people take many bags. And when I thanked them for it, they were kind of impressed. They said, nobody thanks us. They just assume that it will happen every year. So they gave me a hat as well. I got lots of hats. On cold days, I'll be in fine shape. The firearm industry, even if you don't like guns, you have to recognize the economics of it. More than $100 billion a year. That's the industry. More than 10,000 jobs just in America, and Canada has so many, as do other countries. And wow, 500,000 employees in America. That's directly involved. And then there's a spin-off. There's the hotels, the meals, the cabs, the Ubers, the Lyfts. I mean, everybody has pieces of this when you're in town. The Vegas thing, again, I mean, these guys and girls are going to shows and doing all kinds of things, so it's a huge business. It's staggering, really, when you look at the numbers. I mean, last year, 20 million, or close to 20 million firearms sold. Some states, more than half of the buyers of new guns are women. I'm pleased to see that. There's so many booths about teaching women how to shoot, and they've got great dexterity too. By the way, I was at a gun range recently watching a bunch of law enforcement people shoot, and the women, they're exceptional shots. The men, the criminals are safe. Just saying. Now, I met the boss of Glock. Glock is an interesting gun. It started probably 40 some odd years ago. Gaston Glock was in his 50s when he started the firm, and the gun is incredible. I mean, it weighs a lot less than other guns. It has half of the parts of other guns. It's economically priced, like it's $400 or $500, depending, of course, on what you buy. It's a great gun. And Gaston died a year ago. And his wife now is the boss. And so I spent, quite a bit of time with her on 2 different days, 3 maybe. Meeting her again. We're having a meeting in Atlanta, in Georgia in April. Just an interesting gal. Now, she's 50 years junior to her husband. 50 years, wow. But it worked for her. And now she's in charge. Again, having spent some time with her, I kind of think she knows her stuff. I mean, it's pretty interesting. 65% of all handguns in the world are Glocks. I mean, this Glock man, he went to law enforcement. He said, my gun doesn't jam. I've dropped it out the window, and I've thrown them out of moving cars and went up to a high-rise and plunk, and it still works. And you guys have the old revolver thing, so why don't you buy my gun? And wow, what a marketer. It certainly has worked. It's a big deal. I have a Glock here. There's a Glock. And again, it's just a neat little gun, and I already checked. There's nothing in it. And to clean it, I mean, it's just, and look, just a couple of little pieces. No wonder it sells and sells so well, 65%. Law enforcement in some cities, they actually lease the gun instead of buying it. I don't know how that works, but that's a neat little program, don't you know? Now, Ed Berlew was with me. Here's a short video. He's the gun lawyer in Canada, and I did a selfie. Have a watch. Hey, everybody, I'm at the SHOT Show. Look at the gun lawyer here in Canada.
How you doing?
Beside me, Ed Berlew. Ed and I are here with 60 or 70,000 of our closest friends. SHOT Show 2025. I got to tell you, it is what's the play on words? It's a blast.
It's an absolute blast. Absolute blast. This is where the Second Amendment lives.
In America. And Canadians, pay attention to this, hey?
Definitely.
Hey.
You can all be jealous.
Okay. Have a look around. I'll give you a fast boo. Ed, let's say goodbye to everybody.
Okay, we're going to have more fun. And you guys, stay safe and buy more guns.
When the government tells you shouldn't have a gun in Canada, particularly, buy 3.
Good idea.
Okay.
I would.
Two old guys wandering around talking to Americans about the Second Amendment. That's kind of fun. Now, lastly, I was staying at the Trump Hotel. I own some units there. It's a condo hotel. It's a fantastic place in Las Vegas. And of course, when the president comes to town, he or his family, they all stay there, and it's a nuisance because the road's closed, blah, blah. And that morning, I'm a CCW guy, and it's a concealed carry weapon permit, and me and 50 other million Americans, blah. Anyway, I knew that he was coming, so in the morning I took my handgun from the hotel room and didn't carry it, and I went and I put it in the car. Good thing, because when I came back to the hotel, I had to go through the screening, and there's dogs and people, and again, kind of a big thing. Now, I spoke to some law enforcement people there about there's a conspiracy theory. I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy, but I want to share with you anyway. You know, New Year's Day, or maybe it was New Year's Eve, I think day, that guy came up in the Tesla car and he shot himself in the head. And that's what the news tells us. And the Tesla blew up, right? 7 or 8 people were injured and he died. Well, the theory is that didn't happen that way, but because he's a Trump supporter, he's a war hero. He had some issues, you know, some shell shock, we all get that, but by all accounts, he was a great guy. And how is this possible that he did that? So the conspiracy theory is that he was murdered at another location, put into the Tesla, and the Tesla was driven by remote control to Trump, and somebody pressed the button hoping to cause a bunch of damage. Anyway, just sharing stuff with you. Gossip, who cares, who knows? But it's kind of interesting to have some people that supposedly are in the know kind of come up with stories like this. So there's your conspiracy stuff for the day. Y'all come back, and guns, if the government tells you you can't own a gun, as I said in that video, that means you got to go out and buy 3. I said 3. By 33, because governments that don't trust their own people, they don't have a right to take away your right, because it is your right to defend your life and to have a gun if you want to go out and go plinkety plink. It's your right. Boomity boomity boom boom. Hey, y'all come back. See ya.